Hello and welcome to the very first Anarcotech vlog. How exciting. On this channel I'm going to talk about, well, loads of things that you won't find in the mainstream media, but nevertheless are, really important issues. So things like some emerging technologies, including blockchain and cryptocurrencies, but also some of the cool new inventions which could be really disruptive. Things like perovskite, graphene, nanotech, stuff like that. I'll be giving a bit of commentary on some of the stories which most of the big media outlets don't even want to mention, but which people genuinely kind of have a right to know about. And obviously, if you're new to this information, I definitely encourage you, don't take my word for it. Go and do a little bit of digging, a bit of finding out for yourself. I'll be posting some resources at the end of this video for anyone who'd like, a good place to start to find out about some of these things. But you know what? I reckon my old ma, she can figure out how to do a Google search for something that she'd like to know a bit more about. And my old ma, lovely though she is, can best be described as a bit of a Luddite, really. So as you can probably guess from my accent, I'm British. I'm actually a Yorkshireman, and unlike some of the other bloggers who make their videos in lovely, sunny, warm places like Acapulco or Thailand or California, I'm coming to you live from the centre of the universe. That's right, the beautiful Colne Valley in Huddersfield, where we get a whole 3 days worth of sunshine every single year. So in this first episode, I kind of wanted to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to talk about a social media platform where you actually get paid to post content. That's going to come up in a bit. Well, I think the first thing I want to mention is this. What the fuck just happened on the cryptocurrency markets this week? Well, that's been the question that I've got a lot of people who know me and come to me as the sort of guru, if you like, on all things blockchain and crypto. I've been asking. I run a consortium which invests in cryptocurrencies, and a lot of my friends and colleagues, I've got to say, have made a shit ton of money this year simply just by investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the altcoins. We actively trade on some of these as well, and that's going great. But for the last couple of weeks, we've seen some, well, pretty heavy goings on in the cryptocurrency world. And earlier on this week, man, it was like a complete bloodbath out there on the market. Ethereum, which is probably my favorite cryptocurrency at the moment, it dropped on one of the exchanges from hundreds of dollars to just, well, 10 cents. Bitcoin took an absolutely massive battering as well, and as a result, pretty much all of the altcoins, well, they just prolapsed. One friend of mine, he was sitting on holdings of about £100,000 over the weekend. He rang me up to tell me he was down about 35 grand on Tuesday, and that had just happened overnight. And you know what? He wasn't worried in the slightest. He actually regarded the whole situation as a great opportunity to buy more on the cheap. And there's a great lesson in there, because you see, and let me be clear, this is so important, you only lose money if you sell at a loss. Right? So there's a lot of people in the crypto sphere right now. There's a lot of new people, and many of them are making fantastic gains. But of course, some are making huge losses as well. And the reason they're making losses is that they're buying and selling at an undervalue. And it's because, maybe they're seeing dips happen over the space of a day, a couple of days, whatever, and they're panicking. Okay? So rule number one, do not panic. Over the last few weeks, the market's been on what you might describe as a bit of a bump and run. Some people are calling it a bubble, which is ready to burst. But you know what? I just see it as a correction. It's kind of normal market conditions. If you look at the growth of Bitcoin over the last year, you start to notice something really interesting. There's a very, very clear curve. And what you can see from this is that the Bitcoin price, for pretty much most of the time, it follows the curve. Sometimes it's bang on, sometimes it's a little under, sometimes it's a little over. Back in sort of mid-March of this year, Bitcoin dropped against the dollar, and it went under this curve line, which was a great time to buy. I should just say I'm using the idea of the dollar because that's generally regarded as the world's reserve currency, and I guess for now it is up until the point of its eventual demise and complete collapse in the not too distant future. So yeah, this was a brilliant time to buy, and that's really when I was encouraging people to get buying, and those that did are all my best friends now, and they all want to take me out for a pint and a curry. So as you can see, what happened is it's kind of run up and over the curve a bit. That's called a bump and run. It's got into June, and seemingly the arse has fallen out of it. But you know what? It's a correction, pure and simple. The expectation is it's just going to ride that curve line. And, you know, I see a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doom-mongering amongst people. But do you know what? Right now, for people who are pretty new to the whole investing in cryptocurrencies, here are a couple of really important golden rules. Okay, so we know that one. First, you only lose if you sell at a loss. So don't sell at a loss. If you want to do it in a smart way, don't get into margin trading, because effectively you do risk huge amounts of losses there. You can make fantastic gains, but effectively, unless you know exactly what you're doing, you're borrowing other people's money to trade on gains or losses. And if you get it wrong, well, you can end up having your entire account liquidated, and that's not a nice place to be. So, you know, if you're into cryptocurrency trading and you're being smart about it, you know, you're there probably to make money. But as we've seen, if you just simply buy and hold for a period of time, you're probably going to make money, particularly on things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So especially so on Bitcoin because of its limited supply. I mean, if you happen to be unlucky enough to buy on a peak and then the value drops, just whatever you do, don't panic, don't sell, just hold. It will recover, and all that happens when you panic sell is, well, first of all, you lose your money, as we've talked about, and secondly, other people get to buy your crypto at a bargain price, which is fantastic for them and not so great for you. The real question, and this is the crux of it, is this: do you believe in what cryptocurrency is and blockchain is doing? Because if you're here, like me, because you want them to flourish, and because, you know, cryptos and blockchain and some of the others, they're bringing about whole new technologies and financial services which have the ability to destroy the evil central banking system that's impoverished most of the planet, caused countless wars and conflicts, and which have managed to effectively brainwash most of the population of the world into being a bunch of docile sheep who do what they're told for the most part. Then fantastic, you're doing it for the right reasons. Yeah, you might be down a little bit in your holdings this week, maybe even for a few weeks, but, you know, look back over time. The main cryptos, the ones which have a great development team, a good idea, an interesting and useful purpose, well thought out white paper, and real world applications behind them, all of these are just growing and growing and growing and growing. And, you know, it's fair to say this year did experience a bit of a rush of new investors. People had just found out what crypto was and they wanted in. And you know what? They're to be welcomed. The net effect of having these people in is that the prices went up, awareness went up, more and more people are talking about Bitcoin and blockchain, and they're talking about it positively, not talking about what the mainstream media wants you to hear, which is all WannaCry and ransomware and Bitcoin's all terrorists and criminals and all that useless fucking bullshit that they put out there most of the time. So, you know, I think what you've got to understand is that the key to cryptos is that they can get rid of the globalist central bankers who are utterly corrupt. You know, blockchain could actually replace the undemocratic elites who run the governments and who, for the most part, are utterly corrupt. And they do all the key to breaking a lot of the hegemony of massive corporate media giants like Facebook, who make millions from you posting your content that you spent time creating, whilst you get absolutely jack fuck all out of it. With the exception of being censored, tracked and shadow banned, of course, if you actually have the audacity to get a big following. So that brings me on to the thing that I've been really excited about, and I've been playing with this for a little while now, and it's got to be one of the most brilliant uses of the blockchain that I've ever seen. It's a social media platform that's driven by the blockchain. It's not only completely uncensored, but it actually pays you for your content. Okay, it pays you. Now, it's not a scam. You do not have to put any of your own money up. And you know, some people are literally earning thousands of dollars or pounds or whatever every single week. There's people on this platform who are covering their weekly and monthly living expenses just simply by being on it, posting on it, voting on it, which is called curating, and just engaging with it in the way it's supposed to be engaged with. What's it called, I hear you ask? Well, it's called STEEMIT, and it's spelt a bit differently. That's STEEMIT.com, STEEMIT. And it's such a brilliant platform, I have to say. I've completely quit Facebook and Twitter and all of the other socially stunting platforms altogether. Do I miss my friends? Well, yeah, my real friends can always call me and send me an email or do me a WhatsApp, you know, just like they always used to do. But I have to tell you, I have met so many interesting people from all around the world on STEEMIT.com. I am discovering a whole world of cool, funny, talented and very helpful people. Even people from London, yeah, and I always thought Londoners went around in a state of constant depression with faces like smacked arses. How wrong I was. There's loads of really interesting people from London out there, and they're all on STEEMIT. So, you know, head over to steemit.com, get an account. I encourage you, have a look around, see how it works. It is a little more complicated than Facebook, but I got to tell you, it's well worth sticking around to see how it works. Give you an example of how great it is. A friend of mine, a little over 3 weeks ago, I told him about STEEMIT. He went on the platform. He posted just a few videos of himself singing and playing his guitar in his bathroom. And I think he did a couple of him performing at our local open mic night that I play at as well. And in just under 3 weeks, he's made about $1,000 just from posting. I think it's probably less than about 10 videos. That's some busking money. They're not high quality. They're just, you know, taken on his phone in his bathroom for the most part. Yeah, so, you know, he didn't have to stand outside in the cold for hours busking to make that money. So there's all sorts of things that, you know, you can do with STEEMIT. I kind of think everybody has got a little something to say, something to give, something that they can contribute. So, you know what, figure out what it is for you, figure out what you're good at, figure out what makes you interesting and somebody that we'd want to engage with, and come over to STEEMIT and, you know, stick a massive up to Zuckerberg and his horrible sellout corporation, which does virtually nothing for you. So there you go. Join steemit.com. I can't say it enough. So that's it. I hope you liked this little video, and thanks for seeing it through to the end. If you liked it, please give me an upvote and a follow, especially on STEEMIT, because you know what? That's the way that you and me and everybody else can actually break away from being enslaved by the crazy system. If you're not on STEEMIT yet, get on there right now, set it up. I promise you, you will not regret it. Say hello, learn how to do the introductions properly. I think when I just said hello and just wrote a little bit about who I am, I made something like $75 in a night. And you know what? It took me about 15 minutes to write that. So, yeah, not a bad hourly rate. Thanks for watching this this video, and until next time, it's ta-ra from not so sunny Yorkshire.